Hey guys, so I am here to talk to you about makeup brushes today. I've been getting a lot of questions just about the brushes that I use, different kinds, what I like, what I don't like. So I'm just going to basically share with you the different brands that I have, the different types and styles, what I like about them, and we're going to talk about some brushes. So let's get started. First, I'm going to talk about something that is not really a brush. It's a beauty blender, and it looks disgusting because I just used it. So they come not brown like this. I, for the longest time, used a brush to do my foundation, and I finally jumped on the bandwagon and bought one of these off of Amazon, and it was the best decision I ever made. Now when I apply my makeup with a brush, it just looks totally different. I just kind of dot my foundation all around my face, and then I get this wet, I squeeze it in the water a couple times, and you just kind of bounce it on your face, and it just blends it out so perfectly. It gives you just the most natural finish, and now I don't even want to use my foundation brushes because this is that good. If you are debating, oh my gosh, like I was the biggest skeptic ever, and I love it. So moving on to more foundation brushes that I use. First, let me show you what I actually keep my brushes in. I got this nice little handy container from e.l.f. I got it on their website, elf.com, I think. It has 3 different compartments in here. I keep them kind of in order of biggest to smallest, so they're easy to find, but I do love this. I actually am running out of room though, so I feel like I might need to find another way to store them. Going along the lines of foundation, the other 2 that I use for my foundation are by Sigma. This one is pretty old. I need to get another one now. This is the Sigma F80. It's a flat top synthetic brush. So when it's flat, you know, it's just flat right here. But I've had this for so long, and now the hairs are starting to come out. But I love this because it's super dense. So like when you put your fingers across it, it just, you know, barely moves because there's so many bristles in there. I love this because it's super easy to blend out your foundation into your skin. When I first got this, I was like, wow, that's what a foundation brush does. My number 3 is the Sigma Angled Kabuki F84. So this is the exact same brush, except it has an angle. It's also a little bit curved on the bristles, but I actually do really like this one because it's great to get in the kind of crevices of your face, in between, like around your nose and under your eyes and that sort of thing. But if I were to buy one, I do prefer the flat top one. I don't really know why, I just do. Okay, moving on to concealer. These are the brushes that I use for concealer. I have found, after trial and error, my actual favorite, I have one other one, kind of brush for concealer is actually an eyeshadow brush. The one that I was using forever is the Sigma E40, and this is an eyeshadow. It's the tapered blending eyeshadow brush. I had 2 of these, but the other one got super old, so I had to toss it. But this is so good at blending your concealer. But it's not a concealer brush, so you'll get some fallout of the bristles, but this works so nicely for that. One that I more recently purchased is the Sigma P86. So this is a tapered one, and it's more of like your typical concealer kind of brush. So I like to use this under my eyes. I kind of like press it into my skin, and it just packs everything in. You can swirl it a little bit, but the kind of softer bristles are easier to blend. So these 2 are the Real Techniques brushes. This is the pointed foundation brush. This is the deluxe crease brush. So this is an eyeshadow brush, but again, it's dense, it's soft, and it's just so easy to blend in your concealer. I love this for that. The other one is also good. Look how this just like gets right in there. This one is just so amazing. So I really like these 2. These are kind of my favorites for under eye concealer. You can also just use these anywhere around your face. And last, I have the Sigma F70, which is your typical concealer brush. I don't like typical concealer brushes. I actually use these like sometimes for eyeshadow to put on. I just find that they leave a lot of streaking and creases for your makeup, and they're just not the best. I do use these sometimes if I have like a nasty breakout. I kind of use it to like get in there and like get that concealer in there. Moving on to powder brushes. So this is the one that I've been using for the longest time. It's by Eco Tools, which I got at like Rite Aid. It's just your typical powder brush, but I'm getting so much fallout of the bristles lately, so I need to get a new one. But this one works great. If you're looking at brushes, just go to them and feel them and see how soft they are. But powder brushes, you can't really mess up with them. As long as you get like a nice big brush, you're fine. The other two that I have are very similar. Therefore, I use these for mineral powder. Like if you have bare minerals, this is really good for that. Just a powder foundation. If you're applying a powder product, but you want a heavier application. They just really work in the product, but they make it look flawless. So these are like honestly identical. This is the Sephora Professional mineral powder. This is the buffing brush by Real Techniques. They are like the same width and everything. Both are soft, so it's kind of hard. They honestly are so similar, so I don't know the price difference. For bronzer, I use these two. This is the Heavenly Face brush by Bare Essentials, and then this one is by Lorenum, and it's called the bronzer brush. So I like, kind of depends what you like to do with your bronzer. This one's really, actually, let me pull out my contouring brushes too. So this one's kind of good if you want to chisel your face. When you have a flat top brush like this, you could just kind of go like at an angle directly in your cheeks and then kind of bring it down, you know. It's just nice for kind of warming up your face, but kind of chiseling out your features as well. This one though is more of like an all over kind of warmth to your skin. Since it's not like kind of sharp and angled, it's easier to use for bronzer than a big powder brush, because see how much smaller it is? You have a little bit more control of where you're putting on your product. For contouring, I have these two, which are pretty identical. This is the Sonia Kashuk, and this is the Real Techniques. So they just, they're the same size. You just kind of use them right in the hollows of your cheeks to really get that darker contouring product in there, and it just kind of chisels out your features. These are a must-have for me. I use them all the time. And then moving on to blush. This is my absolute favorite. I need to wash it and shape it again. This is the Sigma Large Angled Contour F40. This is so good for blush. Like if ever I am somewhere and I forget this brush and I use somebody else's, I can't get the same look that I do when I myself am doing my makeup. This one I wanted to compare it to is the blush brush by Real Techniques, and this is so soft, but you just don't get the same kind of look that you do with this. So let me show you why I love this, because when you put it in, when you press it like the taller side towards your nose, it gets right into your cheekbone right there. And I just press it in right here, and then I just kind of flick it back towards my ear. But it just like is absolutely just the perfect blush brush. Why do I keep saying that? It's amazing. Okay, and last, moving on to eyeshadow brushes. So I have a lot, these aren't even all of them, but I just want to show you which ones I kind of find necessary. Some people don't even need any brushes, they just take one and they're good to go. I used to use my fingers in high school, which now I can't even remember how I even applied my makeup with my fingers, but I love to use different brushes. I find it's fun to me, so I just wanted to show you which ones I really like. So first, just to put an all over color all over your lid, eyelash to brow bone, you need just a fluffy, just a nice big brush that'll get a lot of product on. This is a Sigma Tapered Blending E40, which I mentioned earlier that I like to use as concealer. This one just kind of gets everything, gets it all on there. The next one that I just find absolutely necessary is like a smaller blending brush. So this one's a Sigma E25. This one is a Lorenum blending brush, I think it's called. What I like to do with this, you can pack on color onto your lid, or I use it just in the crease and you can really blend it out. But it's just an amazing brush. Another one that I think is kind of necessary is a flat brush that you can pack on some color. So this one's by Crown Brush. It's the C415 Sable Shader. So it's a very kind of densely packed, I have a lot of eyeshadow in there. It's like a thick kind of stiff brush, but it's nice because you can press on loose shadow, you can just press on color and it won't go everywhere. Eyeliner brush, obviously this is kind of an essential. This is a Crown C160 and this is a quarter inch. If I had my choice, I would go in a little bit smaller. This one's a little too wide for me, but I mean, it works really nice. And then the other one is like a stubby brush like this that you can use to kind of smoke out underneath your eyes. So this is a C408 Chisel Shader, and this is by Crown. An eyebrow pencil is kind of necessary, or eyebrow brush. So this is by Crown too. It's the Eyebrow Duo, and this is what I use for my brows. Thinner ones are also really nice. I don't know where my brow thing is, but thinner Pencils are nice to put right under your eyebrows to give you like a little bit more of a chiseled look. One more I wanted to mention for eyes is the Crown C411 Pointed Blender. This one is one of my all-time favorite brushes. Just getting a kind of tapered brush is really nice for putting like a darker color right in your crease. It's nice if you have smaller eyes because sometimes if you're using like a blender brush, like this one, it's a little too big and your product can kind of get everywhere. So this one's just a little bit more dense and you can just kind of really control where the product's going. Those are the ones that I use most often. I have other ones. Oh, let me show you this one too because you can get this at Target. This is a Sony Akashuk one. This is a lot like the MAC 213. A little bit smaller, a little bit stiffer, but this again is really good for putting just some product like on the inner part of your eye or something like that. So that one's really good too. You could also use this just underneath your eyes for a shader brush. You wouldn't even need this brush. So just kind of play around with your brushes. Don't feel like you have to use them for what they tell you to use them for. So I hope you guys all found this helpful and hopefully can try out some new brushes. Honestly, I think brushes are super essential when you're doing your makeup. I think that they can totally help you when you're doing your makeup. It just makes everything look more flawless, more blended, and I couldn't live without them. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!